Hmm. Oh, what's up, wonderful human? My name is Blessing Wash, and I welcome you to Thrive Haven. Today, I'll be trying something new, something I've never done before. I will be reacting to a video. So let's make history together. I came across this video, and it's this lady. Okay, let me pause it. I came across this video and it's this lady, she just clocked 30 and she's already a millionaire. I've come across her videos some while back. She teaches about how to understand the algorithm of Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, but I don't think she does Facebook. I don't think she does that. And she is a millionaire. She just turned 30, so she's sharing her tips. So wait, those people that are still in their 20s and they're yet to become millionaires and they want to, what the heck? I am in my late 20s and I'm yet to be a millionaire in whatever currency that you may be thinking about. Yes, I know you're definitely not thinking about time or attention because those two are currencies, but that's not what you're thinking about. So I'm not a millionaire in any currency that you may be currently thinking about, including Naira. Yes, and I want to change that. And so this video, I believe, is going to be very helpful to me, and I said, why not, let me share it with you guys, since this is Thrive Haven. We can do that, right? So let's go through this. Let me go through this and share it with you guys. Let's react. Start.
If you are in your 20s, this is my advice to you. Number one, build up your assets in a very specific order. I became a millionaire when I was 26. I'm 30 now. I just turned 30 this week. My net worth is in the multiple millions, and technically I am financially free.
I like how she said, technically, I'm financially free, because I guess the freedom is in levels, especially when it comes to financial freedom, is in levels, guys. And she said that she has multiple millions to her name. And that's good. But the thing is, how free can one be, especially in America? I believe she's in America, and I know that America is one place that you can be super rich, and if you are not good at managing your money, you can lose all of that money in 1 year. Maybe I'm even too generous. Within some months, you can lose all of that if you're not careful, and you can become broke. But if you're in a place like Nigeria, once you're rich, it's like you're rich forever. I like how she said technically financially free, because she's in America and anything can happen.
There's two reasons for this. Number one, I started a business that ended up grossing over 10 million Canadian dollars in its lifetime. But more importantly, number two, I learned about the different types of assets that exist in life, and I was able to prioritize them in the right order. A mistake that a lot of young people make is they are in such a rush to build up their financial capital. They think that just by investing and just by saving money in their 20s is going to be enough to be rich. The truth is unless you are a trust fund baby and you already come from money, if you are someone who comes from lower income class family or middle income class family like I did, you need to be playing a whole different game. And that game is understanding the different types of leverages that you have and building those up first before you build up your financial capital. The first type of capital that you should be building up is your intellectual capital. This means with all the money that you're making and the time that you have, you should be investing in yourself and in your learning. Upskill yourself, deepen your knowledge. For example, when I was 16, I think I paid $12 to read my first personal development book. It was called How to Win Friends and Influence People. It completely changed my life. It changed the way that I navigated relationships, and it brought me a lot of opportunities, even just learning how to communicate. Nowadays, there's even better books out there and way more resources. But what you want to be doing is, if you don't have the money right now, you should be reading books, you should be listening to podcasts, to YouTube videos, to expand your knowledge and learn as many skills as possible. Learn more about the world.
It's not just your bank account that needs the millions. You yourself should be worth millions and billions. I call myself a personal development enthusiast. Like, I want to know more and more. That's what keeps me like being interested and motivated to continue living and be hopeful in life. That's what makes me hopeful in life, knowing that there's something that I currently do not know, and I'm gonna know it in the future, and it's gonna make life a lot better or a lot clearer. I'll have a better understanding of what things are, why things are happening the way they are happening, and that just keeps me motivated. And she talked about books, reading books. I am glad that Recently, I am really into reading books. I used to read books in the past, but I will read a part and not finish. I believed that it's not the whole book that is for me. Maybe there are just some chapters in the book that I really need to know, because some of the chapters I already know what they're about. But lately, I'm finding books that are really speaking to me. Maybe before I didn't find the books that were really speaking to me, but lately I'm really finding those books, and I'm glad that I am. So even if you're yet to find those books that really speak to you, it's by going through multiple books or staying around those that are reading that you get to find out those books that will really speak to you. And there are books that are very cheap. We have people that donate books. I don't know whether it's just here in Nigeria, but I know it can't just be Nigeria. But people from USA donate books to some organizations here in Nigeria, and they share it to people. Like, we just had a book fair, just book fair, and I was part of the organizing team, and we sold books for 100 naira. There were books that were sold at 100 naira rate, and then those that were sold at 200, and then like the most expensive ones were 1,000. I was in the stand selling those books of 100 naira, I tell you. So some books are very cheap, and it's very easy to educate yourself these days. When it comes to capital, people mostly think of money. That's even the problem. We always feel like currency is just money. Money is not the only currency. And if you're building your capital, you shouldn't just be looking at the monetary aspect only. You shouldn't just be thinking of your bank account, that's your capital. You yourself, there are other currencies that you need to develop that are not in money form. Let's continue.
Once you start making some money, you want to try to invest that into courses or mentors that can fast track your learning, fast track your skill development. The goal of building up your intellectual capital is for you to be perceived as someone who is valuable to the marketplace. Because once you have a sense of value, then you're going to be able to build up the second type of capital, which is your social capital. It's very hard to build up a really strong and rich network without having a sense of intellectual capital. And so in the process of you building up your intellectual capital, you want to find as many ways as possible to help people with your intellect, to help people with the skills that you've acquired. For me, in my career, I helped a lot of people through mentoring others, through offering my services and my resources to others, through eventually digitizing my intellectual capital. I started a YouTube channel, and through my videos, I just taught people everything that I was learning. And from there, when you build your intellectual capital, eventually people will notice you. You want to build yourself up to be a person that people can clearly see you are working on yourself and you are becoming a better person. And so eventually I built up my social capital, which is building my brand on YouTube. Now, you don't have to be a YouTuber to do this. If you are working a 9-to-5 and you're in a job right now, even you just helping your coworkers, going above and beyond, will get you noticed by upper management, who will then connect you to whoever. You want to build a strong network. And the reason why you want to do this is because the stronger network that you have, the stronger and richer social capital that you have, opportunities will come way faster and way easier for you. Once you've built up your social capital.
Okay, before we move to the next capital, like she said, when you build yourself up, you invest in yourself, you can be able to build your social capital. And the thing is, us human beings, we easily notice those that are exceptional, those that are different. And if you have so much to offer, people cannot help but notice you. And once they notice you, they would like to come close to you. And that's how you build up that kind of assets, to the social assets, and you become a millionaire. Especially in a country like Nigeria, you need your social network to be strong, to be the it. You need to invest in it. And someone like me, I'm not really good at socializing, but I'm trying to be super deliberate at it. And I'm thankful that God, in His almighty way, He is also putting people on my way that I just organically meet with them and build a relationship with them, and I'm super grateful. And I've already seen how my life has changed as a result of that, and I'm hoping that it will continue to change even further better. Us human beings, I used to say this, one of the best things, like not even just one, the best or bestest, in fact, let's just be real, okay? The bestest is not a word, but the best thing that can happen to a man is when he or she meets the right people. The best thing that can ever happen to you is when you meet the right people. And how can you meet the right people? Apart from Jesus, I know that you should come as you are. Others, you need to have something to offer in order for them to really want to rapport with you and to be this with you, like to be there for you and for you to be their person. And so when you build on yourself, it will make you stand out. You will speak and people want to come to you. And she also said that you should lift others up. She was sharing what she was learning online. And the beautiful thing about building yourself is that the more you build yourself, the more you have to share. And that's content, and these days content is gold. So the more you build yourself, the more you share. And people run out of ideas. Most content creators, I believe, most of the times they run out of ideas because they stop building on themselves. As long as you are building on yourself, you are learning more. The more you keep learning, the more you have to share. The truth is, you cannot give what you don't have. You cannot keep exhaling without inhaling. So the moment you become burnout, check it. Maybe you have stopped inhaling. Maybe you have stopped developing yourself. You have stopped restocking your capital. She's really dropping bars here. Let's continue and see.
The next type of capital that's going to be really easy for you to build is your human capital. Now, this is very specific to those of you who want to build a business, who have a specific project that you want to go deep on. But human capital is being able to recruit others into your cause so that you can scale up your time. And so in my case, when I built up my YouTube channel and I built up a brand for myself through helping so many people, it was a lot easier for me to find talent. There were people that wanted to work for me rather than me reaching out to other people. Now, of course, you don't need all of that. If you already have money, it'll be easy to hire out and outsource your time. But if you don't have money, having a strong social capital will help you get human capital a lot faster and a lot cheaper. Once you've built up your intellectual, your social, and your human capital, you'll naturally be at a place where you have more financial capital than other people in your age range. And this is where you can make life-changing money.
Yes, that's true. Your network is equal to your net worth. So she's also differentiating social capital with human capital. So you are relating with people, and then you are now hiring the people to do the work you want them to do for you. So relating with people is the social capital. Hiring them, involving them in your process of making money or building your business is the human capital. She's trying to differentiate them. And okay, that's interesting. And the truth is, if you have a good relationship with someone, I don't know whether it's a good thing to work with them. Some people say that it's better to work with the people that you already have a relationship with, especially when you're starting. Some people say it's not. I don't know which one is true, but I guess it depends on the people that are involved. That's what I can say. So it's good to build a social capital and then build a human capital that will set you in a better position, in an advantage over those that don't have any of those. Because I remember when I was launching my book, someone asked me, do I have someone that can edit? Because I couldn't afford an editor. And so he was asking if I have someone in my cycle that can edit the book for me. And I said, no, I don't. And he said, you're supposed to dig your well ahead of time before you become thirsty. So right now, at that point, I was thirsty because I was in need of an editor, someone that can do it for me at a cheaper rate, but I did not dig the well. And so I don't have anybody in my cycle that can do that. I have some people that studied English in school, but they're not really editors. If he, on the other hand, is to write a book, it will not be hard for him to get someone that will edit the book for him. He's already posting things online, and he sends some of those pieces to his friends that can edit, and they edit the work for him before he posts it. But I, for one, don't have such people in my cycle, so I should think about that before I write my next book. Okay.
Whereas if you don't have any of those other capitals, and let's say you only have 10,000, 20,000 in your bank account, yes, you can save it, but it's going to take a while for you to make life-changing money. And so instead, if you actually invested that in yourself and you built up the other capitals first, you're actually fast tracking your ability to potentially make your first 100,000 and then your next 100,000. And then eventually you may even get to a place where you're making $500,000 or $1 million. And that's life-changing money because you now have a way bigger principal to play with. And now with that money, you can invest in real estate, you can invest in the market, and it's going to have a way bigger impact on your wealth strategy than if you tried to nickel and dime in your 20s. Second piece of advice, and that is work hard for everything that you've ever wanted, acquire all the things, make all the money, do it sooner rather than later.
Before we move to the next one, I'll quickly say this. There are doors that your money cannot open for you. It's only the person or the people you know that can open those doors for you. You can try to open it by yourself by working hard and making the money and paying people to open it, but It will be a lot easier for you if you just have people that you relate with that are in the position to open the door for you. And it's not easy for people like me that are introverts. And I know there are a lot of introverts out there, but this is the world we live in. We have to socialize. Meeting the right people is one of the best things that can happen to you. It's the best thing that can happen to anyone. And as a Christian, I believe that the most important person you can meet is Jesus, and your life will just change dramatically if you spend time with him. And so apart from Jesus, there are other good people that you need to meet in life, and spending quality time building good relationship with them will change your life for the better.
Because the sooner that you can get everything that you've wanted, the sooner you will realize that none of that shit actually matters to you. There's a quote that I heard from Naval Ravikant, and it goes, "We have two lives. The second life begins when we realize that we only have one." Even though I made multiple millions in my 20s, I checked off all the boxes, I acquired all of the things, it wasn't until I did all of that where I had this epiphany that none of that stuff actually mattered to me. And it allowed me to live a more meaningful life, or start living a more meaningful life. I am so grateful that I learned that in my 20s. And I'm so grateful that I built up all those capitals that I mentioned, because it got me to a place where I became very successful on paper. And it got me to a place where I realized what truly mattered to me.
I love the deliberateness. She said she loves how making money on time made her successful in paper. Or is it on paper? That is a very deliberate sentence there, because there are so many lives that look good on paper, but you're not really in the person to know whether that life is really good, like they're really feeling and enjoying the life. From afar, from outside, the life looks perfect, and the life she currently has is perfect on paper, because she's the one inside that knows whether it's really perfect or not. But for everyone outside, we look at her life, we envy it, we want to be millionaires. That's why we are watching this video. And just know that there are so many people out there that their life only looks good on paper. It doesn't look good inside. They're not really enjoying it. And I'm grateful that she's really deliberate about enjoying the real life, because she's saying that getting rich on time made her realize that it's not just being rich that matters in life, that that's not even what matters to her in life. And so I'm grateful that she's deliberate about that, and we should also learn that. And I know in Nigeria people will tell you that if somebody that has enjoyed money that is telling us that money is not good, we too want to test the money before we know whether it's good or not. Yes, yes, yes. And that's why she's saying that it's good to get the money early, so that you can get to know that it is not all that money is not everything that matters. And the quicker you're able to realize that, the quicker you'll be able to move on to the real things that matter.
It wasn't the house, it wasn't the Chanel bags, it wasn't the Porsche, it wasn't the multiple millions of dollars. And to get to that realization requires a lot of privilege. And the sooner that you can become a person of privilege, the sooner that you can create peace in your life, and you can actually live the life that you want. Thanks to me hustling and grinding and accumulating all of that in my 20s, now I feel so grateful because I'm entering my 30s and I can make YouTube videos as a hobby. I don't have to make videos in order to make money technically. I do it because I love it. I can spend more time with my family and my friends while I'm still young and while they're still young. And that requires a lot of privilege. And so if you want to be a privileged person sooner, then you may want to just work hard to get what you want and learn that life lesson sooner for yourself.
Spending time with our loved ones when we get money, when we have the ability to spend time with your loved ones, is the most, like, one of the best privilege a person can have, in my opinion. And anytime I dream of becoming wealthy, the only thing that breaks my heart in that moment is realizing that my brother will not be there to spend and enjoy the blessings with me. But I know that he's somewhere, that he's enjoying God's blessings, God's love, because love knows no bound, and I'll keep on loving him wherever he is. He's not in this world anymore, but wherever he is, I know he's in peace, and the love of God is with him, and my love is also with him. But I'm grinding, I am working, and I hope and believe and know that one day I'm going to be rich and wealthy, and realizing that I'll not be able to send him gifts and like just Well, that breaks my heart sometimes because for the longest, he passed away this year. For the longest, I've been hoping that I'll be in a position that can be like sending money to him because he was about to enter the university. I'll be sending money to him and be a big sister. And that was one of my like motivation to make money because he did not want the poverty life. He was all for the salt life. But hey, you still got your sisters, your brothers, your family. I still have my family, my parents. I still have my parents, and so it's not for me to just give up now, fold my hands and say, oh, I have no one to share all this with, so I'll not even bother myself to work hard and get much. I still have my parents, and I'm hoping to build my family very soon. And so the earlier I get the money, the better for me because that means once I start my family, I'll have luxury of time to spend with them.
And this is a very controversial opinion. I already know there's going to be people saying, no, you should be peaceful right now, and you should be mindful right now, and you should live your life meaningfully right now. And I hope that you can do that. But I believe for most people, they won't learn this lesson until they actually get everything that they want, until they get the promotion and they realize that career is not for them, until they get that dream guy or dream girl and they realize that this is not the relationship that they want to be in, until they buy that big ass house and they realize how empty they are, until they have all the money in the bank and they realize that what they actually want is to spend more time with their mom and dad. The sooner that you can know this, the better. Next.
That's true. It's not all of us that can be able to be zen and be in the moment while we're still poor. Some of us need to be rich and then realize that it's not the money that can make us happy, and then we'll now start looking inward and looking up to God for our peace. Some people need to like make the round cycle before they go back to their roots and be grounded. The book that just keeps coming to my mind is The Alchemist. The treasure was right where he was, but he had to go to another continent. He had to go to Egypt, to the pyramid, get beaten by those people, and then realize that the treasure is not really there. It's back there where he was when he was flocking his ships. So some of us, we just have to make that journey, and in the process you learn. So always try to learn, and then you now realize that all this is not it, and then you'll now be able to trace your step to what really is it.
Everything is a projection. This video is a projection. I am projecting onto you. I am projecting my beliefs. I am projecting what I feel is important. I'm projecting my life experience onto you. But what I believe is true for me does not have to be true for you. And I wish that I knew this lesson sooner in my 20s than I did.
Yeah, the truth is most times it's a projection. People are sharing their tips and their points based on their life experience. And sometimes we share some experiences, but other times our experiences are different and everybody's on his or her own journey. So as you take advice from people, you should be aware of that. I'm glad that she's deliberate enough to point that out. This lady, I love the deliberateness of every point she's making on this video, and I hope you're also learning.
Stop idolizing. When I was in my 20s, I had a lot of fangirl energy. If you were older than me, I would fangirl. If you were more successful than me, I would fangirl.
I read somewhere that fan is from the word fanatic. Is it true?
If I was given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, I would fangirl. I would even fangirl over material possessions. And I learned that you can be excited for something and you can have respect for something without lowering your status, without devaluing yourself, and without giving away your power. And when I was in my 20s, which was not too long ago, I used to give my power away to a lot of people. And I used to put a lot of things on a pedestal. I used to put people on a pedestal, opportunities on a pedestal, material items on a pedestal. I would slave for them. I would lower my value for them. I would do things that I'm not proud of for them. And I learned that the moment that you just stop idolizing things is also the moment that you create a lot more peace and freedom for yourself.
I don't think I'm a fangirl. I hardly I don't even know how to use that word in a sentence, but I don't really idolize people. I don't think I'm that person. I've learned way earlier in life that we're all humans and we make mistakes, and sometimes we say things and later we realize that we're wrong. And so I cannot just take someone's words as like the Alpha and the Omega, except if this God. God is the only one that I hold on dearly. I hold on to dearly. And I'm glad that I was able to realize that way earlier in life. And I believe that has saved me a lot of trouble and that has helped me with my self confidence. And I'm just glad.
You can doubt your work, but you shouldn't doubt yourself. I think it's completely normal to question the quality of your work, whether that's you submitting an assignment, whether that's you delivering a project to your boss or your client or the business that you're trying to build. I think without you criticizing your work, you wouldn't have room for improvement. But even if you are questioning your work, you shouldn't question yourself ever. You shouldn't question the value that you bring to the table. You shouldn't question the value of who you are as a human being outside of your business, outside of your work. You shouldn't question the potential that you have in this life. A mistake I often made was I made my work mean something about me as a human being. And this often led me to a dangerous path of self-sabotage. It would lead me to depressive moments, unnecessary anxiety. And I think it's important for you to be able to separate your self-worth from the work that you're producing, especially if you're an entrepreneur or especially if you're an online personality and you're trying to be an influencer and you're doing all those things that are so tied to you personally. You need to find a way to really separate that, because you're robbing yourself of so much peace and happiness if you tie your self-worth to your work.
This is very true. Most people cannot differentiate between the two. They cannot differentiate between their work and themselves. Like if they are putting out their best and you are criticizing their best, they feel like, oh, if my best is not enough, that means I'm incapable of doing what is like the barest of the barest minimum. And that means there's something wrong with me. And they begin to over criticize themselves, look down on themselves, and that is just a rabbit hole. Like it's better if you don't even put in your best. Like you can say, okay, I'm just a lazy person. Maybe if I get the right motivation, I can be able to do what I'm supposed to do and it will turn out to be the best. Of which we know that you cannot rely on motivation. Actually, you have to be disciplined. But hey, I think that that's a way better situation to be than to be in a position where you're putting in your best, but your best is not enough. Like, that can just demoralize someone. It can make you begin to question your existence and not just believe in yourself anymore. So we should learn to separate the two, differentiate between your value and the value of your work. You can, yeah, your capacity is so wide. We're just tapping just a little out of our capacity. We're just using a little out of it. And lately, I've been praying that God, God bless me with the capability to utilize my capacity, because human beings, we are multi-talented. There's so much that we can do, but we're just doing so little, and sometimes we judge our whole value based on the little that we're doing, which is not fair. It is not right. The ratio is not just ratioing, I guess. So you can join me in that prayer. Let God help us. Let Him bless us with the capacity. I believe He has blessed us, but let Him help us to be capable of utilizing our capacity. That's what we should be doing. So let's always learn to separate ourselves from these things. Let's not use those things to determine our value. It's very important, because if you have high self-esteem, I believe it will help in a long way in you becoming rich. Because you have to be confident in order for you to speak in some rooms where people that have money can be able to say, wow, I'm willing to invest in this person. I'm willing to pay for the product that this person is selling. I'm willing to listen to this person and pay for a course. You need a level of confidence. And if you are yet to separate yourself from your work, like separate your value from your work, then it has a way of bringing down your self-confidence, your self-belief, I guess, and that will make the journey a lot harder and a lot longer, and that's not what we want. We want to hit those millions as soon as possible in the right way. Let's continue with the video. It's like I talk too much. This is my first reaction video, by the way, so I'm going to use this to assess myself. But even if I don't perform well, I'm not going to condemn myself, because my value is different from this work that I'm putting out there. I'll always get better. I'll always learn from it. And that's how we continue moving to those millions. Let's continue.
Next, I want you to do things while you're still excited about them. I think that there is a beautiful naivete in your 20s. because you're experiencing life as an adult for the first time. It's your first decade of being an adult. And an analogy I learned from a friend of mine is if you sit on something for too long, it's like leaving fresh food out for too long and it becomes stale. And when it becomes stale, you no longer want it, and so you toss it away. And the reason why we often let things sit for too long, whether it's our desires, whether it's ideas that we have, is because we tend to overthink. And because of that, a lot of life-changing ideas, a lot of life-changing decisions go to waste because we've ruminated for way too long and the timing has passed. And so what I would hope for you and what I would hope for myself, even as I enter my 30s, is when you are most excited about something, whether it's an idea that you have, whether it's a decision that you're thinking of making, just do it, because it could lead to so much adventure. And at worst, it could lead to a lot of lessons that you're going to learn in your life, a lot of wisdom. And so do things while you're still excited about them. Don't overthink it for too long, because the timing will pass and you'll no longer be excited, and it won't be that same experience as if you did it while you were still excited about it. Take risks in your 20s. Especially in your 20s, you have so much more time to recover from your mistakes. You have so much time to make more money. You have decades and decades of time.
Overthinking. Who is an overthinker out there? Stop overthinking. You don't want your idea to get stale. That's something I'm learning new. So that means as the idea is coming, use that momentum. Take advantage of that momentum that's coming with a fresh idea and start doing something. I know ideas come and then there's this energy, the initial grab. And so make good use of it. Make good use of the adrenaline that's coming before it gets stale and you are no longer passionate about it, because the passion at the beginning is always high, and we need to really take advantage of that. And adults, we overthink things, we want to be careful, but hey, you're still in your 20s. It's time for you to test and see what really works for you. You don't need to be too scared. You can still take risk, okay? Good calculated risks. That's what I have to say.
The biggest risk that I ever took in my 20s was leaving my well-paying corporate job at 23 or 24. I became a coffee barista making minimum wage so that I had more time to start my YouTube channel. And because of that one decision, I was able to make a lot of money for myself in my 20s, which was amazing. And I was able to live my dream life on paper. It could have absolutely gone to shit. I could have started the YouTube channel. It could have flopped. It could have taken me a lot of time to make back the money, but I could have always found another job. I could have always rebuilt my skills. And so I'm so glad I made that decision in my 20s. And the second biggest risk that I ever took in my life was recently. But right before I turned 29, I burned down my business. And so just take advantage of the risk tolerance that you have in your 20s and even in your 30s. And stop feeling like you can't afford to make the wrong choice, because you can afford to make the wrong choice. So do the damn thing, because it could lead to really amazing things. And the worst thing that can happen is you make a mistake, but luckily you are someone that doesn't have a family yet. You're someone that doesn't have a lot on the line. You can still be selfish. You have a lot of time and you can easily rebuild. Go deep instead of wide. And we're talking about skill sets here. So if you are feeling lost, you don't know who you are yet, you're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work for you, then it's completely normal to go wide, to dabble, to explore different subjects, to see what works and what doesn't work. But once you've identified something that you like and that you're good at, I want you to go deep on that thing. And the reason why is because, yes, with some time, some training, and some investments, you can absolutely turn a B player into an A player. But if you are already an A player in a specific topic, subject, or skill, and with some time, some money, some investment, we can bring A players to being A+++ players. And it's the A+++ players that become world class at what they do. And they really stand out in life. They really stand out in society. And the best part of that is life becomes so much easier when you just double down on what feels easy and what you're passionate about. And even if you don't think that thing that you're good at or the thing that you're interested in is going to make you money, even if you believe that it's not going to make you a dime, if you're good at it and you really develop that skill, the money will absolutely come. Because that is the one competitive advantage that you're going to have among anyone else who's trying to do the same thing. In my case, I knew from a young age in high school that I loved making videos. I made videos even when I was in high school with my friends. And at the time, no one thought that making videos like that would make you money. But because I'm good at it, because I don't give up on it, because I actually enjoy it, I've been able to make multiple millions of dollars from it. But if you don't even like YouTube, or if you don't even like making videos, and you're forcing yourself to do it because you think it's gonna make you money like it made me money, it's never gonna work. And so you want to go deep on the things that you love. You want to go deep on the things that you're good at, because that is your competitive advantage that other people will not have, and the money will come when you chase those things.
That's something I'm trying to do, and I think it's working already. I'm trying not to pressure myself too much on this YouTube thing. I'm trying to like do it in a way that I'll enjoy it. I'm trying to see it as me talking to my friends. I am someone that don't have many friends, and so this is an opportunity for me to make friends. That this is an avenue for me to have a community of my own. So, and that's something I actually want. So I am going into this with, I believe, the right mindset. Based on what she's saying, I believe I'm getting into this with the right mindset. Podcasting is something that I would love to do, even if I am a billionaire. Even if I am a billionaire, I'll still be a podcaster. And it's just something that I know I want to do. And even in something that you love doing, you can still be stressed from it, but you can actually minimize the stress when you always remind yourself that this is something you want, this is something you love. And so just reminding yourself that has a way of easing the anxiety, because sometimes for you to always be putting out content out there in order for you to meet up with the algorithm, in order for people to hear you, even as I said, I'm someone that wants people to hear me, to have a community around myself. But you can't be able to really have that community if the algorithm is not working in your favor. And for the algorithm to work in your favor, you need to obey its rules. And those rules include you being consistent, posting all the time, and people are bombarding the net with content, and sometimes they're just rubbish content, and you need to beat up with that. And it can be nerve-wracking and anxiety inducing. I believe that's a good correct sentence there. But well, I always try to remind myself that I'm doing this thing because I love it, and I cannot afford to be stressed out of something that I love, because that will only make me stop loving it, and I don't want to stop loving this. I want to love this more and more. So I keep on finding ways in which I can enjoy this more, because this is something I want to keep on doing. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. This is such a wonderful video. I hope you've learned something. I hope I wasn't talking too much. This is my first reaction video, and so many more to come, I believe. So this is where we're going to stop on this video. You can check it out on her channel in case you're someone that's trying to build your social media presence on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. You can really check her out, and I love her deliberateness in this video, and in almost every video she does, she is deliberate. And so you can check her out. Her name is Vanessa Lau. I don't know whether it's Lau that they pronounce it, but it's Vanessa Lau. Lau as in Lau. So check her out, and know that I'm going to be posting very soon. So please subscribe if you're yet to, like the video if you enjoy it, and let's build this community together, even as we enter into our millionaire era. So see you guys. Remember, don't just succeed when you can try. Bye.